Ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome to this week's episode of Critically Casual. I'm your host, Srekcuf, and joining me as always is the magnificent DorkyDev. Say hi, Dev.
Hi!
Hi. How are you doing, Dev?
Doing alright. Doing alright today.
Doing alright, today's good. You didn't work today? You're not exhausted after work?
No, I worked.
Okay, but not exhausted this time. That's good.
No, not this week at least.
Give it a few more days. It's the start of the week. You'll die out soon.
Yeah, more than likely.
But until then, I say we just start talking about this week. Any objections?
Nope.
Nope. Alright. Let's start talking about what we're doing this week. Which, this week I've decided to call A World at War. Which kind of makes sense, I guess. Because we watched Dunkirk and we watched 1917. And then we're going to wrap everything up today with the news and wrap-up. So,
Yes.
Yes. Which, we're going to have, I guess, a little bit of a new, quote-unquote, segment.
It's a segment that's been done on a million other shows, but it's more because I always watch them. Steven doesn't watch them. So occasionally doing them. Maybe the first one for some movies. Because inevitably he's got to see them anyways.
At some point, eventually.
It's trailer reactions, so... And there's a lot to talk about today's trailer. And if you don't know what it is, you obviously... One, it came out today, so time-stamping this.
How dare. It's not like these shows happen every Monday.
What time?
At 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
You could tongue-title that! Yeah. Are you sure you're good?
No.
Fair enough. Yeah. So,
shall we start talking our first movie of the day?
yes, first movie of the day.
All
I need my statistics. I said I was going to start doing this. So, first movie, Dunkirk, directed by one Christopher Nolan, also written by one Christopher Nolan, from famous movies such as, I don't know, Inception, Interstellar, the Dark Knight trilogy. So he's kind of famous. Budget of $100 million estimated. The opening weekend worldwide, or should I do U.S. or should I do domestic or?
Let's do
worldwide?
domestic.
Domestic opening weekend USA of $50 million.
Alright.
50.5, so pretty much a little over half of its budget from estimated budget from just opening weekend in U.S. So probably about a quarter of its budget, if not a little less than that, because of advertising.
Advertising's weird when it comes to movies.
It's so much more than the film in some cases.
Depending, yeah. Depending. You can go the cheap route and go with the streamer, bro. Get those.
Still, man,
Yeah.
you got the reason why everyone says take your budget and double it for a film, advertising, is because the commercials are expensive, especially when you're buying those commercials. Let's say you're buying that commercial for, I don't know, Adult Swim after like 1 o'clock. It's gonna be a lot cheaper. But if you're buying a commercial for halftime on Sunday Night Football,
On the big game, maybe?
well, on the big game, that's an entirely different league of its own. But it's going to be way more expensive. So, That's why they say double it, because also that's, not... Also,
Plus, there's the
That's
fee of, you have to pay other movies to run trailers in their movies.
yeah. And then also, you've got to account that your advertising costs will also kind of go towards if you want nominations for things. That's also technically part of your budget.
Who wants to be nominated for things?
Apparently not Uncut Gems.
No, not at all. No movie ever wants to be nominated for.
And apparently the one with the Hustlers, or Hustle, with J-Lo. Apparently, they didn't get nominated either, which I heard that one was really good. So
I have no idea. We haven't watched it, and our opinions are the only ones that matter. So,
I call bullshit on that.
but no, there's actually, I want to talk to you about that a little bit later today, too. So, yeah, spoilers for our news section. But, now let's start talking about Dunkirk.
Yes, Dunkirk. So, yeah, Christopher Nolan directed all that stuff. Man.
Yeah. This was your first viewing, right?
Yes.
Okay. This was my...
I did have to do it in 2 parts, sort of, because I went and watched our second film in between starting and finishing this film, because that was the earliest showing. I want to go to the earliest showing. Yeah, I didn't... It doesn't really... The tension doesn't really break for me, at least, when I did that. It still was there, but man, it's just, like... There's also the like, fun fact, there's a little bit of a narrative thing that he does with this, from a, like... When things are happening, it's a little bit, skewed, we'll say.
Yeah. That was something I was going to bring up, actually. But keep going.
My personal opinion is that, like, I don't know if it relatively needed that to be a part of the movie, but it is, so that's what it is, I guess.
I getcha. Like, when my big complaint for this movie, like, I like the movie. I actually kind of, part of me likes the way this movie's cut together, be it the small little income, like the not being tied together time-wise perfectly, like it's not chronological 100%. But I like that because it lends to the tension and the pacing that Christopher Nolan is creating. However, his pacing in this movie is a little drawn out, and like there are some moments, like, don't get me wrong, this is a great movie, but I feel it's a little slow at times. That's my only complaint about this film. It's just, you'll be sitting there doing one thing for 10 minutes, and it's not really important what this one thing is.
Yeah. That's a really good way of putting it, because that's exactly what it is. Like, it takes a while to do things. Which kind of sucks, because you kind of want this movie to do a little bit more with that.
Yeah, a little bit. Like this, like I said, this is the third time I've watched this movie, third maybe fourth time, and I'll still go back and watch this movie again because it's got some great moments of good tension. It shows a lot of character, and it shows like the gritty hopelessness that was war going on in France at the time, I believe, if I remember. I don't know.
Yeah, Dunkirk's in France.
Yeah, my geography's terrible.
That's fair. It is. I know him.
Where am I again? Just kidding. But
the U.S. of A.
That's helpful. But yeah, it's just like, I don't like that we'll be sitting there, just standing there we'll be sitting in a boat, and then we'll be sitting on a boat, and then we'll be sitting on a plane, then we'll be sitting on a boat, then we'll be standing on a dock, and like, it's just like it's a lot of. I kind of like this movie because this movie is great. It's like it's tension. It brings out the hopelessness. It's very well directed and shot, so like it looks beautiful. It's just, I want it to go a little bit faster.
Yeah, and that is a 100% fair criticism of this film, because it does not move. Like, it... And it's not necessarily an awful thing about the film, it's one of those things that, like, it just takes forever to do anything with, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough to explain, because it's just, like, it's a really excellently shot film. It's really good. It's tense and stuff. But, like, it just kind of drags to that point.
Like, if there's like a couple of things I wish we could change about it. Like the I wish we could change some of the the arc for like the civilian crew. Like their story was kind of for me overall, but I like it
Yeah.
added a lot to the movie, and it was ultimately what kind of tied us all together in the end. There, I there's like the Navy crew, I guess, and they're the more interesting group of people to me. But at the same time, we also get like the Air Force people, and their story is interesting. And it's just we get all these really interesting stories, but it's just too much. And that's literally just
Yeah.
gonna be my only complaint. It's just
If it's 4 movies in one,
kind
or
of.
4 episodes in one,
Mm-hmm.
like that's a good way I can put it. It's like 4 episodes of a really long war show, like a Band of Brothers kind of show, put into 1 hour 45 stretch. And I know Band of Brothers is like an hour plus an episode, but it paces itself better for that. While this doesn't quite pace itself in the way, and it's a critique of the film, but I still enjoy the film. It's tough to talk about, okay? Because I do enjoy the film, and
It's just kind of weird though.
bastardizing.
You muted it. You're muted, Dev.
My bad.
What was that last part?
We're bastardizing Christopher Nolan's great name.
Oh yeah, no, we're not bastardizing his great name.
Sorry, I hit the wrong thing. I'm typing in something on our
Is it on
on
Discord?
our Google sheet real quick.
Ah, Google Sheets, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
Though
'Cause I really like it, but
Mhm.
I have troubles with it.
It's just there's either like the high points in this movie aren't quite high enough to excuse how long the tension is built up for.
That's a fair way of putting it.
And it only kind of sucks too because, like you said, this is 4 movies in one. But if we were to split each one of these parts into different movies, these would all be really slow, really boring. They'd be more or less documentaries at this point, because there's no way we can make a civilian crew of people crossing body of water entertaining, or one pilot flying really entertaining for multiple hours. And
No.
that's why it had to be all cut together. But like, yeah, this is a good movie, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it. That's 100% for sure. I would definitely, if I ever had a chance to watch this in theaters again, I would, just because I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It's just It's not like this is a complex story either, but for that matter.
No.
So, it's just like, it's just a lot of kind of hopelessness.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's complicated in the sense of not that the movie is complex, but more in the sense of that the the direction is complex because it's Christopher Nolan. So, because you see what he's trying to do, but you don't necessarily think he's always doing it the right way. I guess.
Yeah, I get you. Is there anything else in this movie we want to talk about, Dev?
I think it does help point out the theory that Logan is better than The Dark Knight as the best superhero like film, because again, Nolan has issue editing some things.
Are we just
pacing.
gonna have to settle that ourselves one of these days? Redo Logan and then watch Dark Knight with it and decide which one's better?
Oh, we can just take whatever rating we got from Logan.
Guess we could do that. That's no fun. That's not a whole other show.
But yeah, no, I still like the movie.
Mhm.
It's just I don't know. It's complex.
Your mood and emotions and what goes on. And... So, Dev, in that case, I'm going to give you 10 popcorn kernels. How many
I'll
would you
give it a
give Dunkirk?
7.5.
That is exactly what I was going to give it.
So a perfect 7.5.
Yes, perfect pair of 7.5 popcorns. Okay, so that's said and done. Let's move on to our next movie, 1917. Sorry, I just got a message here. Who wants my attention? Is it you? It's you.
What a great film.
Oh, yes. I was genuinely surprised when it's not a spoiler, at least at this point, just how little I knew about this movie. I was genuinely surprised when I sat there and I was like, okay, 5 minutes in. Or 1 minute in. Alright, I think we're in a one shot still. 2 minutes in. We're still in a one, aren't we? 5 minutes in. One in or still? 20 minutes in. What the hell are they doing? This is still a one take. What the hell is going on? Well,
It's so cool.
yeah, like that is
the way they cut is just smooth because it just feels like camera went around a rock.
Mhm.
That's all it is.
That one's kind of a little jerky for me, but that specific one where it goes around a rock. But
Yeah, but at the same time, it's the camera never stops. You know what I mean? And I feel like a couple of them feel like that, a little jerky, but at the same time, the creativity to do this, the ability to do this, because there's one in the Forest too that does it, where I notice it, but at the same time, I'm like, it's still really cool. Like the fact that you're even attempting this, because there's only two things happen in this film that feel like they're cuts. And it's just because of the perception that we have.
yeah,
Of our protagonists.
it was really weird to be in this movie for me, like only because it
I forgot to say, directed and written by Sam Mendes, also written by Christy Wilson Cairns. Sam Mendes is, I think his grandfather was the one credited in this film. At the end as a memory of, yeah, because he had stories of this apparently from it, so he wanted to tell this story, which is really awesome. Budget of again $100 million. Parallels between the two films, but this one, U.S. opening, did $500,000 on its opening weekend. Mind you, that was December 29th before they did the expanded release.
Yeah, so this movie did something interesting. For those of you who don't know, it's called a limited release for the beginning, which limited releases can go for one of two reasons. First reason is because they don't quite have enough money to go worldwide to be able to distribute all the way, so they use the opening weekend money to kind of build up their funds to be able to distribute mass production. The other reason is because they wanted it to be in award shows and considered for nominations for things, but it had to be released before the end of 2019, even though the proper release date for the worldwide was January 10th.
Yes. Which is more than likely why this one was.
That's my opinion. Yes, that's. But
because again, budget of $100 million, they have some money to play around with, to to get this film in the public eye for advertising and stuff like that. Because one of the production companies was fucking Warner Brothers, so. There's some money to get this out there, and it would be a move to be, hey, awards. So,
like that being said, yeah, I genuinely love this movie. Oddly enough, I would say this movie doesn't have as many gritty moments as Dunkirk, but it has a lot of heavier moments. Like they're deeper in emotion. They're a lot more complex in what's going on. And like, I'll be honest,
They're
like,
personal.
yeah, they're far more personal. And like Dunkirk also feels like it kind of calls out the the art of war a little bit. And 1917 doesn't really do that as much to me.
No.
I mean, it's a very personal movie, but it doesn't it doesn't have like a great moral message, I guess. Of
No,
until
it's a story.
yeah.
It's not a moral story. It's a race against time story.
Mhm.
Which those are always good for tension. It's like, dude, this movie is so tense.
It is. I have one complaint though. I feel the race against time was a little too tight, like how much time they had in between moments, because like overall, because the time they had in between moments was really short to me. Like we were here, then we were here, then we were here, then we were here, and I can explain that a little bit more in spoilers. But like when we were in a moment, or I'll call it a sequence, we were in one sequence of the movie where we're like from here to here to here to here. It all made sense. It all felt connected. But then there'd be like a bridge where you're going from one sequence to the next sequence, and it'd be one really short transitioning scene, and it would feel to me a little hasted, a little quick.
Fair.
And like
Um,
the direct one I'll give you, which is I'll just say the airplane moment, where after the airplane we move on to driving, and I was like that was a little sudden to me, like how quickly things happened. So
it's war. That's how I think about it. Like, let's be real. Like that would happen more like let a plane happens like that. If that's something that happens, people are going to be like, what just happened, and look into it. Like,
I'll give you that, but I'm gonna briefly call back the attention to the cinematography for this movie.
holy crap.
Yeah, I just absolutely love the whole thing that it's just all done as a one take. The part that was kind of confusing to me is that it's done in a way that it's like you're a third person controller almost, and it's weird to be like so personal with this person, so like up in their face and in with this moment with them, but not be able to do anything to affect them or their decisions.
This felt like Uncharted with like someone else playing the game. Not in the sense of like story beats or anything like that, but just like the perspective, the way the camera moves and stuff like that. And like it's just, the way you're always kind of like you're always moving in a way that feels natural to the film.
Yes. I would like. There's so many interesting different parts of this movie, and like it all lends itself to the cinematography for me. It all lends to the editing and the sound design in this movie. It all has a lot to do with our main characters for sure too. Like especially, I think it's Schofield um, is the guy who falls asleep on the tree, or because Blake was
yes,
the younger brother.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Like I love Schofield or George McKay, the actor in this movie. He is very good, especially because how much time we spend close up on his face. He does a lot of good work of just being a good facial actor, and it's hard to do such minute little movements to convey such complex emotions, and he does a great job.
Oh, he does a fantastic job, honestly. Like, it's so in depth in a lot of ways. The way he the way he's like broadcasting what's happening for his character in a lot of ways, like how his character's processing things. Because like again, it's very personal. It's very in his face. So the fact that like he's able to, without taking us out of the film, make us understand how he's feeling just by acting with just his face is awesome. Like that's some crazy good acting in this movie.
Trying to think of other things that really caught my attention. Let's see. Like I said, the pacing of this movie was fine. It was like it had the good moments, but then it felt rushed in between the good moments. It to me, let's see. I'm trying to think of all the key things that we normally talk about because we could. It's hard to say. I want to just get into spoilers on this movie because it's good, and I just want to talk about each scene and the moments. And don't get me wrong, there are other things we could talk about. I guess I just want to get through this. I don't know.
Well, my argument to that is
just tell me what you want to talk
about.
People
who
just
haven't seen it a chance to understand what the film is like, to understand the film in a way that like maybe intrigues them to see it without having to be spoiled for it. No, for me, I want to talk about just like one, lighting plays such a good role in this film and how they do things because like there's night scenes and day scenes, and in one take you'll understand how they pull it off and they do a really good job of it. But like there's a scene where you're in these ruins and there's flares going off and there's a huge fire on the other side of the town and it's breathtaking. It's tense and terrifying, but holy crap.
I thought you were
it
gonna...
is
Sorry, go ahead.
breathtaking.
I thought you were going to talk about like as he's running out of the ruins and it's transitioning into like daytime and you could
Yes.
Yeah, and I was like the technicality between it's dark and it's night and now it's daytime suddenly and it's like you can barely see you can't see the transition. It's just that good.
Well, also I think a good what they had to have done for that scene is literally like
Post.
Not just post. They may have filmed that at the break of dawn and been like, we get one of these a day.
Yeah, and golden hour, basically.
Run it. So
there's like two ways they could have done it. They could have filmed it during the day and then used editing to make it look like a night scene, or they could have done it practically at that time of day and just
or they would have done it they would have had to done it at night and used lights is another way they could have done it.
Not really. It's easier to make things darker. It's not easier to make things lighter. So going from a dark place and then making it look like it's a bright sunny day, including all of the surroundings in the sky, would be really hard to do unless it's done in post.
Well, how do you make it dark?
You just lower the slider that says brightness. And like
yeah, but that's not a natural dark.
I get that, but still, it's just the easy way to explain what's going on. It's just in editing in computers, it's easier to make things darker than it is to gain lighter. It's easier to hide information than it is to draw more out of it.
That's fair. This doesn't feel like a non-natural dark. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. At least to me.
We got good editors.
No, that was so tense. And then there's a scene inside the trenches where they go through some like bunker parts of the trenches, like the inner parts. Holy shit!
That was really cool, actually. I got a little upset at one moment though in that scene, only just because I was like, really? Come on! Why does it have to be now? This one moment, this one chain of events happens.
Oh yeah, I know exactly. Yes, I thought the same thing of course, like right now is when that happens.
So there are some moments of convenience, but at the same time, this is a movie about two characters and their journey, so it has to be
Yes.
centered around them and how convenient slash inconvenient it is.
Yes.
So it all makes sense, and it's all done super well. And
Oh my god, it really is. Um, and then I like one of the other best shots I think of the film is outside of a trench, and there's a lot of troops running
behind him. That is my favorite moment in this whole
into
movie.
him. Holy shit, that is such a whoa moment. Like, there's not another film with a scene like that.
Yeah, especially because of how it's the how that scene is shot, and especially because in every other part of this movie, it's all about mainly him and what's going on in his journey. But in this scene, it's still him and his journey, but it's the widest out we've seen in the whole film. So we get to take in the whole everything that's going on in the background, and it's so impactful. It's I would almost call it poetry, but it's all done in cinematography. It's great. That's why I love camera work. Honestly, it's.
Oh no, yeah, no, 100%.
Good movies.
It's some of the best cinematography I've seen ever in any film. Like, this is without a doubt probably in my top 5 films I've watched. Like, I know some of my top 5 are like easy, like no-brainers for me, like Endgame and Empire, but this is up there. Like, because it's like from film standpoints, like each one of those, like each film that I've had in my top 5 right now is like Endgame, Empire, Into the Spider-Verse, and now this are at least in my top 5. I don't know what the 5th is, but those 4 for just different reasons of just because what they've done for cinema and what they do for me. Because this film is just on a different level. Like, it's not even playing fair compared to a lot of other films. So, like, man, it's breathtaking. And breathtaking in ways of beauty and in ways of heartache and in ways of just pure, like, the tension just broke and you're suddenly out of breath because, oh my god, what's happening? You know me, I'm a sucker for tension. So, like, this film, and one of the best things it does for that tension is the one take. Like, because you don't have that necessarily a cut in this film. That tension, especially in those moments where they're building, it's almost a softer release of tension. In the sense of that there's all, like, no matter what, because it's war, there's always an underlined tension, and you never get rid of that because there's never a cut. There's never a transition to a different scene because it's all one scene.
Yeah, and I kind of liked how, like, this didn't feel, the tension in the mood was natural, how it lessened and it, like, deepened. And, like, when I think of other movies and it's like, all right, we're in a tense scene, we're doing something really dramatic and upsetting. Now this character has to crack a joke because we're supposed to be in a funny moment next. All right, funny joke. All right, funny scene. Let's go. Like, there's none of that, and it's just you're high. You're on a very emotional high with the adrenaline that's going on in the moment, and then it kind of mellows out. And then as he's calming down, you get to calm down, and just how the camera work works. It helps you calm down, and it's just as simple as pulling a camera further away from his face or putting it closer to his face, or
and it's amazing. Like, there's not another film that I would be able to compare this to, like, and that's why it's probably in my top 5. Like, each, like, or at least top 4, because each one of those films for me have are incomparable to other films in their own ways, because Into the Spider-Verse has its animation and its story, and just like what Into the Spider-Verse does, I don't think anyone else will ever be able to capture like that. what Endgame does is going to be such a unique experience that's never going to happen again. Not like that. Empire Strikes Back. I don't remember a time where I don't know that story in my life. And it changed cinema because it's probably got the biggest spoiler that everyone knows for all of their life.
The most mispronounced spoiler ever, or
Yes. Yeah. But it's the biggest spoiler ever. Everyone knows it, and some people don't even know. Haven't even seen the films. So from a cultural impact on film, those 3 films, in my opinion, are up there. And so, like, this one's ability to just tell such a personal story without any interruptions, without, like, anything feeling forced, and being a one take, which, from an editing standpoint, is just nuts. Like, there is some awesome CGI trickery that goes into this film that you will never notice because of how it's shot. It's nuts, and it's just it deserves any accolades it gets, without a doubt. So, and the acting's great. Like, I know we haven't touched as much on the acting, but the acting in this film is so good.
Mm-hmm. And it all relies really on our 2 main characters, and they just pull the film together.
George McKay does, or Mackay? Would it be Mackay?
Mackay.
Mackay. And then Dean Charles Chapman are both phenomenal in this film. Mm-hmm. Like, damn. Anytime that, like, whatever the motion they're they're directed to make you experience, either vocally or just visually, they embody it perfectly, exactly how you envision that person would react. Even because you get introduced to these characters very quickly, and you have to, like, understand who they are very quickly, and it works in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's about 5 minutes before they're given the mission. In that 5 minutes, they build your understanding of these 2 people, these 2 very human beings,
mm-hmm.
and their lives.
Yeah, it just tells you the situation that they're in, like why they're there, what they were literally just doing, what one person missed, like
just their lives back home.
Yeah, it's just them getting to give us our connection to them before it all falls apart.
Yeah. So, like, it's just, and within those few moments, you're attached to these 2 characters, and the rest of the ride is just so worth it. Mm-hmm. If you have a theater near you, go see this. Like, that's just that. I have to say it. Like, go see this film, without a doubt. So, just gonna say that.
Yeah, just see this movie. Just see it.
Yeah, it's I can't think of anything that I really, like, have problems with this in this film. Like, yeah, some of the not cuts are kind of somewhat noticeable, but they're not noticeable. Like, the only reason why I'm noticing it is because I think I've attuned my skills to be, like, a CGI person of noticing things, and there's some they use some CGI trickery to get around the not cuts.
I mean, and sometimes it's just as simple as an object passing in front of the lens. Like,
yes,
if, say, for instance, there's literally just my finger going in front of my camera, from one side to the other, they'll just transition from one scene to the next.
Yes,
and it's like, all right, cool.
And, like, some of it will be that, like, they'll do that, and then the forest will kind of, it'll look the same, but the perspective will almost shift a little bit. Mm-hmm. And, like, how far stuff is.
Yeah, like the depth of field is different.
Yeah. And then you kind of notice you're in a different place. Which that is some beautiful transition editing, some VFX, cinematography, that, like, there's so many different like parts of filmmaking in play in just that forest transition that like I do notice it, but it almost makes it more beautiful to me because it's just like there's so many pieces moving at once for that one transition that's not a transition because it's still one cut, and I'm like, holy shit, like that is that is so much effort when this film could have just had a cut, and I love it. Like, it's so cool. That is so fucking awesome in film.
Yeah, but they took all the extra effort to tell it all in one long, uncut, unedited story, and it's so cool. I agree with you.
So cool.
I 100% agree with you.
Oh man,
go see it in theaters.
Yeah, no, this is
The
one that
end.
I'm picking up on Blu-ray, like easily. I own all of the other top 3. This one's getting a Blu-ray pickup as well. So
Yeah, like there's definitely,
and not just because they're part of collections. All right, this one's just it doesn't need to be part of collection. I'm picking it up. So
to me, this definitely, no doubt, is no doubt why it won the Golden Globe for Best Dramatic Film. Like,
without a doubt.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yes, like without a doubt. My God, like, fuck. So I'll give you your popcorns now. I think I've been able to say everything I can say about this film. Yes, without spoiling stuff.
So
With enough motion for it.
I give this movie I'll give it a 9. Like, it's really freaking good of a movie. I'll give it a 9.5. It's just the pacing a little bit, and those those small scenes bug me just enough.
That's fair.
To take down that little bit of a point.
I think you know what my rating is.
Yeah, it's a 10.
It's a 10 for me. Like just from my standpoint. I mean, it again, I'm comparing it to 3 other films that I've given 10s for different reasons, and I've given other films 10s as well. But those 3 films are the upper 10s. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if we had a grading scale that went above, this would also be on my above a 10. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, we don't do 0.25s or 0.27s. We round up. So that gives this a rounded 10. And I'm okay with that. That's the first 10 of the year!
Woo! 1917, first 10 of the year.
Congrats, you got a 10 from Critically Casual.
It only happened 5 times last year?
I think.
Out of all year? That's a lot of
Out
movies.
of all 52 shows, which is 104
movies minimum.
Plus, there were a few that, well, not quite 104. It's probably about 104 movies. Because we did do a couple movie list weeks, but we also did a couple weeks with 3 films. Because we did the Mission Impossible last year, right? That was
5,
last year?
wasn't it?
Yeah. So I made up for the 2. No, we only did 1 list last year, didn't we?
Last year... yeah, last
It was Mission Impossible last year too, right?
I think Mission Impossible was 2018. Let me double check.
Was it?
Real fast.
All right, then it might have been around 104 movies last year.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, out of 104 movies, only about 4 of them were 10s.
Yeah, for various reasons, and this one gets it. So, 1917. I mentioned before we get to spoilers, I would like to talk about my theater experience with this film.
Okay.
So, I managed, because of this theater experience, to get an inconvenience-free pass.
What?
It's a sorry card.
What?
So, this is essentially a free pass to see a movie at either the theater that's within walking distance or the theater that I drove to for this film.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to see this film. All the trailers are playing, and then the last trailer for what fucking movie is it? It's coming out this month. the rhythm section starts playing. And you know, all of a sudden, greens start popping up. Like your green screen greens.
Yeah,
start
just
popping
like
up.
pixels of it pop up.
Aha! All over the place. And at first I'm like, maybe it's just the trailer. No one gets up through the trailer, alright? We let it run through. Because maybe it was just a faulty trailer. Then the Universal logo pops up, and I'm like, alright, I'll get up.
It's like
So,
reds, greens, and all the other colors too.
it's
maybe?
just greens.
Okay.
It's just greens. So I get up, I go out there. I'm like, hey, so the projector in 9 is messed up. And she's like, yeah, I'll take care of it. I get back, and I was sat sort of near the front. I was like 2 rows from like the step area, not down like, because down below there's like 2 more rows of seats, and there's the main walkway behind it, and then there's the rest of the seating.
Yeah.
I'm 2 rows up from the walkway.
Yeah, you either need to be 2 or 3. That's the best place for the seat to sit in the theater, depending on how big the
Yeah,
theater is.
it's yeah. So I get down and I walk, and I obviously had walked out to do that, right? Because no one else had gotten up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I ran into no one on my way to or from.
Yeah.
And on the way from, I ran into one person. I was like, hey, I already told him. She's like, okay. And kept walking towards them. I'm like, well, what the fuck are you going to do?
I want a refill.
She didn't have anything with her. All right? So, in between now and... So, the movie had played from the beginning to when they get to the general.
Okay.
Which is the first 5 minutes of this film. They stop, like, people keep getting up to go talk to them about it. I'm kind of sitting like, did you not fucking see me? Like, I obviously got up and came back within a minute. Like, what the fuck else would I have been doing?
You're obviously the most important person in the world, Dev, and everyone should have noticed you leaving that dark theater.
It was bright as fuck as I got up. And I walked through the front, man. Like, there's no missing me. If you're looking anywhere down, toward, like, upper levels, you obviously see anyone who gets up on that walkway. Mm-hmm. It's one of those theaters where, like, it doesn't... You don't block the screen, but as long as there's light, you see something moving.
Yeah, you'll see a silhouette in the bottom.
Yeah. You see the person. So, obviously, I'd gotten up to talk to them, more than likely. And, like, from that first 5 minutes, they restart the film to try to get it fixed, right? The screen goes white, then goes black, and the movie starts playing again with nothing on the projector, because they're still fixing it. People keep getting up to go tell them that it's not working, when obviously they're working on it. And I'm sitting there like, the fuck are you gonna do? There's obviously been people who have already gone up to talk about it. I'm one of them. I was the first one. What are you gonna... Hey, the projector on 9's down. No shit, Sherlock. We're working on it.
They literally walked in and said, sorry for the inconvenience. We're working on the projector right now. And people are still telling us the projector's not working. I can see that happening.
They literally walked in a little bit later. Hey, so sorry about the inconvenience. You can get a free movie ticket if you'd like. You can also wait until after the movie to get that if you'd also like. Some people left to go watch the Hawks game. Which, by the way, movie ended perfectly as the Hawks game started. So my drive was, saying, hey, the Seahawks versus the Packers started. I'm like, all right, cool. Good timing. So I of course got my movie ticket afterwards because I was like, I'm gonna sit through this. Fuck it. I literally sat there because it was the second row back. So I had the bars that would be for the handicap seating area. No one's sitting in the handicap area, so immediately sitting there on my phone playing Sudoku for the next 30 minutes.
30 minutes to fix that?
Yeah, roughly. Took about, I'd say 20 to 30 minutes area. The movie started at 1:15, trailers played, so I'd say 20-ish minutes to fix it.
Oh, God.
This film isn't necessarily long, because it's only an hour 59 minutes, but you add an extra 20 minutes on top of that, of just sitting there not doing anything in between the trailers to that.
Mm.
I was like, man, by the end of it, like I hadn't really like moved that much, and my hip was like my thigh hurt. I'm like, ugh, ugh, man, yikes. Because I normally sit a few rows back from where I was as well, so it's just like I wasn't in my normal seating area. So yeah, that was my experience in the theater. It was interesting.
Mine wasn't. I wouldn't say mine was that bad. I also had a weird experience though, because
what the fuck?
Yeah, I ended up I was right. It was about. I usually leave 30-40 minutes before my movie starts because that's how long it takes me to get into civilization from where I live. Yeah. So I drive 30-40 minutes to get to where I need to go, and right before I left, I saw that there was like one seat left for the movie, and it was exactly where I wanted to sit. It was like, if you had to go alphabetically, my theaters usually only go up to G. A and B are the two front rows, then there's the walkway, and then there's the handicap row, then there's C, D, E, and F, and I like to go to E or F, and it was like E row right in the middle, only one seat left. I was like, that's mine, I'm taking it, I'm going there. So I take the seat, I sit down, and movie starts. 30 minutes into the movie, the couple that's sitting next to me decide that they don't like this movie, and they go to leave. So they walk one way, come back because the girlfriend forgot something, left again. About 10 minutes later, the boyfriend walks back in again, starts rummaging through everything, turns on the light on his cell phone and starts like searching just in the middle of the movie, and then he looks over, he's like, hey, have you seen my cell phone? Like, he's using a cell phone to look through for another...
in your hand.
I wanted to tell him that. I was like, you mean the one in your hands? Because you're ruining my awesome one-take movie? But yeah, I was just mad because they left early and then they just ruined by flashing the lights everywhere and distracting everybody.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I hate that shit.
I also hate, by the way, if you're going to a movie theater, please take off your digital watches, especially if they're smart watches.
See, how I do it is put it on Do Not Disturb. That's how I did it with my Fossil when I was still working. I need to get it fixed. See, I actually have it right here right now. All I need to do is just get this ring back into the back. This is one of the charging rings. I just don't know how to do it, so I need to figure out how to get that fixed correctly without making it broken. Because I spent good money on this good watch. Because it's not a bad watch. A really good watch. But I would set it to Do Not Disturb. Because if you set it to that, guess what doesn't happen?
It doesn't light up?
It doesn't light up!
But I'm a forgetful person, and I forget to turn that off. It's okay. You'll look at your watch.
They have the things. Well, the thing is, too, like, what I also do is, because this has these light up really green when it's doing the heartbeat thing, which checking my heart, so I tighten it up on my wrist as well, so that it doesn't seep out. So, like, if it's a little looser, you can get a little light out of it. Okay. So I tighten it on my wrist, too. I do everything in my fucking power to make sure that I'm not going to bother other fucking people in the theater. The only time I will ever pull my phone out in a theater is if I'm in the very back row, there's no one else in the very back row, and it's a movie that I genuinely don't care about it after, like, the first 30 minutes. And it's happened a couple times. Looking at you, Curse of La Llorona. And films like that where I've been like,
So normally I end up pulling out my phone right as the credits start to roll to be like, all right, does this have any after credit scenes? No? Okay.
Yes, that's exactly what I do too. That's usually it's does so and so have an end credit scene?
Yeah, I usually type movie title, end credit scene. Just yes, no, no. All right, cool. Let's get out of here.
Well, usually I do it, and then I'll click on like the screen rant link that pops up because it'll be like, yeah, this film came out this weekend. And, and you scroll down like halfway. No, it doesn't. Yes, it has 6.
Like, there's...
Is the call laggy for you?
It was a little bit. For about a second.
You are still very laggy for me.
Really?
Yeah, you are beyond crazy laggy for me. You're just like... You're not moving right now, and I think you're moving.
No, I'm not moving.
Well, I see your eyes moving, and you're not moving. Okay, you're not moving at all right now. Your head's going back and forth. You're not moving at all. You haven't moved for the last, like, 5 minutes.
I'm so confused. Like, you're perfect for me, and everything seems to be fine on my side.
That is weird.
Alright. Alright.
Do you mind if I, quick drop back in?
I guess you can. Yes, look at my shoulders. Aren't they great? Hello?
Oh, it's still bad.
Is it the exact same picture?
It's still pretty much the same as it was before. Like, you're still really robot-y and still really, like... Like, movement-wise.
I have no idea what's going on. Should I leave the call? Should we start over the call?
I changed it to U.S. Central. It's working now. We're both on the West Coast.
All right. West
All right,
Coast, Best
well-
Coast.
Let's get ready to spoiler!
Woo, spoilers for 1917. I recommend, don't get me wrong, we love having you guys here, but I recommend walking away because you need to watch this movie.
You need to watch this movie without spoilers, because one of the spoilers in this film will ruin this entire film if you hear it beforehand. Not ruin it, but like it's gonna like really it's gonna mess up part of the film for you.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
That-
Where do we want to
that be-
start, Dev?
man, from the trailers, I didn't expect that.
What
Yeah.
happens to Dean Charles' character?
Yeah.
No, I didn't either.
I thought I saw him in later scenes in the trailers. I was like, I thought he might, like, later in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Not there.
Yeah, not that early. That was
I was
literally
like,
like the second or third thing
shit.
that they did together, and they fucking dies.
I
Spoilers.
was like, holy shit, he's. I thought he was gonna get up and like he was gonna drop him off at a medical, like they would make it to a medical kit, and then they would go separate ways.
Mhm.
Like I was like, maybe that's what happens, and then he doesn't get up. I'm like, oh my god, we're
Like,
oh,
and it was so devastating too, because it was just like he gets stabbed and then he instantly starts ripping off his clothes like, no. If I start bleeding, I'm gonna die. And he opens up, he's fine for a second, and then he starts bleeding and he's like, no. Like, and you just see the heart
Oh my
break.
god.
And then the
That
best
scene
part about
was-
it to me too was how you see the white, like the blood leave his face and the color.
Oh my god, right?
Yeah.
My god. Oh, that scene was so heartbreaking.
And it was just so sudden. And that was the first moment where I actually got a little upset by the pacing of this movie, because we have the whole, like, we get our mission start, we get our travel to the front line. Makes sense that's short because the front line and the back are pretty close to each other. Then we have our across no man's land. Felt fine as well. That was perfect pacing. We get our flight that crashes, which I was like, of course it crashes right where they are. It had to be them, but we know, whatever, cool. Then he gets stabbed, and I was like, cool. Like, all this is still fine. But then immediately after he dies, 2 people show up. Like,
No, a brigade showed up.
a whole brigade, a whole squadron of vehicles, and like,
They set it up with the tree in the road, okay?
yeah, I know.
And during those moments where he's with, like, even if even if those vehicles were rolling up, he's not going to notice it due to just like what's happening right at that moment for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that moment, he's so focused on this that he might not even like notice like vehicles rolling up. And even if they did just roll up, he was starting to move the body and everything. So like, I can excuse it from that just because like
I almost would have preferred if they gave us a minute to sit there, like just wallow in the fact that one of our two supposed main characters is dead, but we don't really get to sit there because this movie is just under 2 hours. So
also
with credits,
Schofield doesn't have the chance just to sit there.
I mean, I get that. I get that the whole thing is he has this much time to waste. But you know what could have helped? Is if the coma that him being passed out didn't last as long as it lasted. Then
that lasted 12 hours.
Yeah.
I thought about it. I'm counting it. It's like, so it's... Which, by the way, I loved the clock. That was so good. Because did you start counting immediately, too?
Yeah, I had to figure it out. I was like, okay, so
As soon as I heard the first bell, I was like,
1, 2...
I was like, what time is it? What time is it? What time is it? It hit 6. I'm like, oof. That means it's the morning.
Uh-huh.
I was like, unless it's winter, and then maybe it's... Wait, there's no snow. Oof. Like, my brain's trying to process, like, give him as much chance again. Maybe it's 6 p.m. And I'm like, no, it'd be winter if it's 6 p.m. because it doesn't get dark that early in France because it's further up on the northern hemisphere than we are. And I'm in Washington, which... It gets dark at like 4 right now in the winter. Oof.
So, like, if he wasn't passed out as long, we could have had an extra minute of him sitting there with his dead friend.
How long he was out, there were some serious issues with his head afterwards. Mm-hmm. Fuck.
I mean,
because that is at least 12 hours. Because I can't remember exactly what time it was when he crossed the bridge.
Yeah, he said they had 16 hours, and then he woke up.
Which would be just over
16 hours from. They said they were charging at just past dawn, or
yes. So at least bare minimum, like right after dawn, right? Which it was about 6 o'clock is when dawn started. So at bare minimum, time he was out is 12 fucking hours. Because it was still at least mid-afternoon when he got knocked out. Mid to late afternoon.
And that being said, why was it then when he gets knocked out for 12 hours? He survived being this close from a landmine. That didn't knock... I mean, it knocked him out, and he had someone wake him up. But still, like...
Well, he also got suffocated a little bit during that.
Yeah.
It's because there's a difference between, like, an explosion like this pushing you away from something, right?
That's a lot of concussive force all the same.
But it's spread across your body a little bit more. While a bullet bouncing off your helmet, and then you being, because it hits you, you falling off the stairs and hitting your head on the bottom of a full flight of stairs, that'll knock you out, especially if there's no one there to wake you up right afterwards. Especially given it did like crack, so there was blood. He broke like skin at least at a bare minimum.
There was a lot of blood in the back of his head until he jumped in the river.
Which means that there was a lot of force behind that fall. Which that'll push you out if no one's there to be like, hey, yo,
you awake?
Wake up!
Hello. Yoo-hoo. I'm pretty sure I would do that to you, by the way. If you ever got knocked out in front of me, I'd be like, yoo-hoo, guten tag.
Please wake me up faster than that, fucker, or get me to a hospital.
Hello, Dev. Hello.
But no, like, that is one of two, I can say, cuts in the film.
Yeah, the cave-in and the blackout.
Yes. Maybe 3 if you count the jump into the water.
Yes and no. Like, sure, we can count that as an obvious transition there too.
Well, there's a bit of a cut when he goes. Well, no, there's not a bit of a cut anywhere in that, is that? No.
I mean,
Fair point.
It's the obvious point where to put one.
Oh no,
honestly,
yeah,
so.
it's the obvious point when they would have done the the edited cut.
Yeah.
That's not a cut. But yeah, now that I think about it, no, it's really only the cave and the concussion that are the 2 points, because from a perspective of our protagonists, that's the only times when they can't see what's happening.
Yeah, so we can't see.
And even then, the cave one is only for a moment.
Yeah, it's an explosion, and then it's like, whoa, where are we? Ears ringing, everything's falling apart. But that pissed me off. Like, that's 2 times.
The fucking rat.
The fucking rat did something super convenient in a movie. Which, by the way, have you listened to Avengers End... Side topic, real fast. Have you listened to the Avengers Endgame director's commentary, by chance?
Not yet. I need to start doing that. I'm going to go through films that I want to watch the commentaries on here soon.
I did. And one of my favorite parts is when I think it's Joe Russo's talking about the rat, because this was the commentary was filmed after theatrical release, so he got to talk about all the memes and stuff, and he's like, "Here comes the savior of the universe, the hero of the galaxy, the rat." Not even, yeah. So, and in this movie, the rat is a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, seriously, man. Like, fuck. That rat, man.
No.
Yeah, it was like, what the fuck? It was so rough. It was like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Through
I don't know.
like that was a pretty shocking moment. At least they managed. At least the cave, the tunnel didn't collapse in on them while they were in there, so that's a plus.
Yeah, they had time.
But then we continue on from the movie at that point to, what's the scene directly after that?
They get out of there. They go past
Was that the plane?
the artillery area. No, they go back to the artillery yard.
Yeah.
Then they go into the forest and they're talking about the stories about the ears, and rats, and
then like the
then
three
they get
houses.
to the field. Yeah, they get to the
Okay.
field and they see the cherries and they talk about the cherries. Which
And then-
again, like, it's just simple conversation really builds these two characters.
Yeah, and builds up the relationship they have together. Like the moment that really got me, honestly, was as soon as they got out of the bunker after it had blown up the cave, and like our main character at that point, not Blake, Schofield, whatever.
Schofield.
Yeah, Lance Corporal, like how he's sitting there and he's like, "Why'd you have to choose me? Why did it have to be me?" And like just the conversation they had with each other, like, "I almost died there, and all because you picked me, because I'm your friend."
Yep, pretty much. And he's being honest. He's like, I didn't know what it was. I was picking you because I thought it would be like getting food or something like that. Like,
Yeah. Nope.
and he's honest about it. I thought it was something simple like that. I'm sorry it was this, but I have to do this. You can go back. Also, I appreciated the actors who are noticeable for people who know that what roles they've played before. Like seeing Colin Firth in this.
I was just
seeing
thinking Colin Firth.
Where is he? Can't remember his name. But I didn't realize he was in this film until he
Benedict?
drunkenly gets up. Not Benedict. I knew Benedict was going to be in this. I didn't know when he would show up. Moriarty. Fuck. What is his name?
Andrew
Oh,
Scott.
Jay, what's up? What?
Andrew Scott?
Andrew Scott.
Is that what it is?
Thank you for the raid, Jay.
We're being raided?
Yeah.
Hey, nerds. Thanks for the raid. We're in the middle of spoilers for 1917, but we're probably wrapping this up soonish.
Soonish, yeah, the spoiler section. Go see this film if you haven't. Like,
Yes.
you need to.
Yes.
All of you.
100%.
All of you see this film.
All 8 of you who just showed up.
You want to know, for me, since you just got here, I've compared it to being one of the top 4 films in my, because I don't have a 5th yet, but like the 4 films that I feel like make up my film. Well, actually, no. I'll count it as one film, but the Fistful, the Man with No Name trilogy.
Okay.
Because spaghetti westerns
Yeah.
influenced me a lot. So I'll put that as my other one. But you know, it's up there for me with Empire, Endgame, Into the Spider-Verse, and the Man with No Name trilogy. I'd have to rewatch to see which one I think is the best out of those to put as the official one. But like, it's up there for that. Like, it's so fucking good. So go see this film. You're wonderful, wonderful people, and I hope you're all having a good day. Yeah, no, it's huge. It's high praise for me on this one. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Yeah, absolutely. I recommend 100% of you guys, all of you, go see this movie 100%.
It's genuinely great.
Especially because, like, just like we were talking about it, just the fact that it's just the one take, the whole thing done in the one take. So, if you like cinematography, like I do, it's my favorite thing about movies. This movie is freaking amazing. So, and it's dramatic and it's intense and like.
And it's such a personal story.
Yes.
So, yeah. We will be doing, in a little bit also, we will be doing a trailer. Steven reacts to a trailer because he doesn't watch a lot of trailers.
You've already seen it, haven't you?
Fuck you, man. I watched it. That's the reason why I thought of doing it, alright?
Okay, sure.
If that's fair.
That's fair, I guess. And then we have news and other stuff after that, too.
Yes.
But
no,
is there...
we're going to be wrapping up shortly because we're just talking about certain scenes.
I was about to say...
I don't think that's kind of all the scenes that we really could talk about, in all honesty.
Mm-hmm.
It's like...
I was just thinking that. Like, what specifically...
Other than the scene that's in the trailer, which is the long shot we talked a lot about, which is the out of the trench
yes.
down.
Like,
holy shit! My God,
I loved that moment in the movie. It like I said in the breakdown a little bit, how it's the only scene in the movie where we get to see our main character's full body, and we get to see everything else happening in the background, and all the explosions, and like just the severity of the moment
and everything. And it's so it's the last chance.
Mm-hmm. It's just like it like you're late, but you haven't failed yet. Like, it's your last possible chance to save 1,600 people, and it's just so well done.
Yeah, no.
Especially because
so good.
After that super huge moment, we get to another really tight scene where it's just we're in close proximity with 2 bodyguards that are like, "No, you can't cross. You can't come in here." Like,
yeah, no, it's so good. Like, God, go watch this film.
yes.
Yeah, that's. I think that's where we have to leave it at that point. Like, I don't know if there's anything else that can be said. So on to news and wrap up.
On to news and wrap up. So,
are we gonna start with the first thing then?
We could start with our Morbius. So let me hit some buttons here, I believe.
All right. So this will be the first time we do this. We've been debating doing this for a while on the show. For how long? Have we debated?
For a little while. I forgot to hit the graphic. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fair.
I recently did some reorganizing. Hang on.
That's probably why it's not there.
Now I have to figure out where I put it. Hold for a second, everybody. While this... Pay no mind to the man behind the curtain. This one? No. When did we start doing news? News with the view? I don't remember. I'm so bad at this. I'm an awful host.
It would be far back, wouldn't it? Type in, is it called news?
News. See what pops in when I look for it. Oh. 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 Almost.
Yikes. What the fuck? Oh, this is the 3, isn't it?
That is the thing.
Oh. Ah!
Try that again. Try that again. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad at this.
And yeah, yeah, Dragon, this is par for the course for us. Hey, it's the first time we're doing a new segment, alright? It happens. I'm just gonna sit here. You can't see what I'm eating, but I'm eating something. And it's delicious.
That's good.
Yummy, yummy for my tummy. You search it again?
For some reason, the search is being complicated now. Like, I can't type into my search bar news anymore.
Huh. Well, that's upsetting.
Oh, what? I'm gonna assume it's here, then here. Is it there? Nope. Here.
Hold up. Big brain moment. Dev's here.
If you have it, you could maybe send it to me.
Big brain Dev to the rescue. Yep, I have it. Here we go. Upload.
Where'd you upload it to? There. Not that one. I was looking for the one with the window in the middle and the camera's on the side.
You've never sent me that one.
Did I not?
No. Unless it's way back in here somewhere. I've downloaded everything you've sent me for Critically Casual. Except for covers, because I don't need every one of those.
Yeah, no. I don't know why I still have... I've held on to every single graphic I've made for this show, so... I don't know.
We should put them on a drive so we don't lose them.
I actually did recently get a lot of data, like hard drive space in my computer. My dad ended up upgrading his computer, so he gave me one of his old hard drives that he doesn't need anymore. So now, and plus, Dragon ended up buying me a hard drive, because she was a very nice lady for Christmas. So, I got a lot of memory space, at least for the moment.
I'm going to keep this scrolling up until I find it.
So it was sometime at least before April, I believe.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, because the first instance I find of the news that I'm looking for is for Avengers.
Okay, let's use that one.
All right. I think I found it.
Hey!
Why is this all the wrong size? I don't know. But
It's been a while since we've used this one.
a little bit. What gives you that idea?
Hey, everybody. I even said before the show, hey, is everything boxed correctly?
The answer
Don't worry about it.
I thought was yes. I didn't realize that wasn't set up. Which means, oh well, okay. So, on the count of 3, I'm going to press play for anyone who's looking at, let's see, this is The Sony Pictures
It's a little.
Entertainment.
It's gonna be boxed a little bit differently for you guys than it is for him because it's a little off.
Is it
center?
Off center? It is off center.
But that's fine because that means they can't copyright us as hard.
All right. Cool. Let's
So.
go. Basically,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
I forgot to do the countdown. Ready? Are you ready, Dev?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, playing. Okay.
Michael, I've known you since you were a child. You're a gift. You always have. If there's an answer to your disease, you'll find it.
I should have
Pay
done
attention
it
to
years
in
ago.
association with.
Why am I still here if not to fix this? I have a rare blood disease, and I'm running out of time. This could be my last chance.
You're up to something. What is it?
That's not exactly legal.
I don't want to see you get hurt more than you already have.
This would be a cure.
At what cost?
I was just thinking, like, Requiem from a Dream, man. It just... That is the song that's playing, right?
Yeah.
I went from dying to feeling more alive than ever.
Increased strength and speed.
The ability to use echolocation. And an overpowering urge to consume blood.
Damn.
How far are we allowed to go to fix something that's broken? Until the remedy is worse than the disease.
Did you notice the suit?
The suit? I don't think I did.
Wait for it.
Michael Morbius.
Wait for this.
Got tired of doing the whole good guy thing.
What's up, Doc?
Really? Alright.
But did you notice the suit? What Spider-Man suit showed up?
Ability to
Go to 208.
How far are we?
Oh! I was looking at that earlier, actually, there. That's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Isn't it?
Yes. But who shows up in the end of this?
But that's Scarecrow. Or
No,
not his
Vulture.
name. Vulture, that's right. I couldn't remember his name for a second. Yeah.
In the exact outfit, by the way, and
That we see him in his
credit to
prison
this.
outfit.
Yes, the exact prison outfit. I gave credit to this from Kind of Funny because I watched their reaction to this trailer. And literally,
I was about to say, that just
Barrett
looks like...
pulls it up, and Kevin Coella literally goes, "God fucking damn it!" Because he's so heartbroken from how it is the exact same thing. What universe is this in? Because it's also in the same universe as Venom.
How far are we?
What the
That's
fuck
the-
is happening? And it says murderer across it, which makes people think immediately,
I think Tom
obviously
Holland.
Spider-Man. Yeah. Which also, that pose is from Spider-Man 4, or from Spider-Man PS4.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we have a weird Spider-Man... So we don't know what timeline it is in Spider-Man Lies.
I don't know what it is in Spider-Man Wise, man. What the fuck?
One thing that actually kind of caught my attention, actually, was the... Like, two things. One was the weird way his power looks. Like how it's a smoky, vaporal essence.
Dude, I was like, Nightcrawler?
Honestly, what I just thought, like, that looked like the Nightcrawler graphics from effects. Yeah, just purple instead of blue.
Yeah, exactly.
So another thing that caught my attention was
Did you use
the
echolocation?
echolocation right here, where
Yep.
I was like, now we're playing clickers. PS4
Last of
exclusive.
Us?
Yes, Last of Us. It's like now we're playing Last of Us, where
Oh, I was thinking of Daredevil. And also Batman, because he uses echolocation to do his like investigation stuff. That's one of the tools he uses.
That's true.
And
So
that's broken.
yeah, like my initial thoughts is I'm kind of interested. I was going to make a joke that I thought initially I was going to make a joke because I was like, wow, Jared Leto, he's going to be playing a really cool villain in a movie. Hopefully they don't cut out all his parts again. No, wait, that was DC. So.
He's pretty mad about that still.
I know, and he's mad that Joaquin Phoenix is getting all the attention for his Joker role because that's exactly what Jared Leto wanted
It's
to
really
do.
not his fault. Let's be real. Like, it's... DC just kind of went like, we can cut his part.
Yeah, we
It's not entirely his fault.
Yeah, it's
so
not that.
I can understand being bitter. But yeah, no, this
What the hell
hey,
is
this
this?
so many questions. I have no idea. Morbius is like, my knowledge is like across Marvel.
Mhm.
Then there's the subsurface Marvel and of the like B-listers, C-listers, and my knowledge starts to fall apart. Morbius,
Is a C-lister.
C to D-lister.
Yeah. Like Morbius
depending
is
on the era.
Yeah, Morbius is supposed to be the villain of Spider-Man, and he's supposed to be like one of the first ever genetic, like not mechanical villains, right, or whatever. I figured, but I can't remember honestly.
Think so.
Yeah, but at the same, like I was telling Dev this Morbius is the first ever comic book that I purchased. Like I bought it in like Morbius had his own run of comics back in like 2013, where he had like. I think it was maybe an 8 comic arc, and I bought them all, and read them all, and I don't know what I did with them, but I was like, ooh, vampire
It was a phase.
comic.
Steven had a phase, alright, everybody? It's as hilarious as you're imagining. Not making fun of him, but just more of the fact that, like, there was a vampire phase in just the 2000s, so, like, some were affected more than others.
Maybe a little. So that being said, that Morbius, like, I'm interested. It didn't look as bad. Like, it kind of doesn't look as bad as I thought it would turn out. But it was a first look teaser trailer, so.
Venom didn't look as bad as it turned out, though. Let's be real.
That's true. I mean, plus also we have to think about Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix, we knew was going to be a train wreck. Let's be real. I had some hope, but it was also like, this is going to be a train wreck, I feel. Hey, guess what? It was, because there's literally one in it.
Isn't there 2 technically?
Shut up. It's just one, I think.
There's the subway train that gets...
Oh, okay. Fuck you. Motherfucker.
Okay.
But yeah, I like literally. Funny enough, what the subject I was going to bring today was going to be that there was a leaked image from this trailer, which was the Morbius at the end with the fangs and everything.
Yeah.
And the red eyes. And the no nose. The Vold nose. The Vold nose. The Vold nose. We'll call it the Vold nose.
The Valda
in honor
nose.
of the Valda nose. And I was going to be like, oh yeah, Steven, this is what I want to talk about. And then because I saw a story about it early this morning from What Culture, and then the trailer dropped today. I'm like, oh well, fuck me.
It's all perfect timing.
There goes that story. So I need to come up with something else. Sup? This was my segment. My segment will be, hey, I'll bring a trailer that Steven may not care about as
Sure.
much, but he will care about. Like, it depends.
We'll
It may be
see.
the first one of a like a series that we watch or something like that. We've watched all of them of. We'll see how it goes. So
We'll see. So, I do have a couple of things newsworthy that I want to bring up.
okay.
First one, since we kind of started talking about Avengers Endgame, I want to start talking about Gwyneth Paltrow. So, there are two things I want to talk about. Gwyneth Paltrow first caught my attention this week because apparently she's selling a special smell of candle, which I'll get to that in a moment. The reason I think she's selling that candle is because she has a new TV show coming out on Netflix called The Goop Lab. Which, yeah, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. Yes, I'll get to that. Jagged. So yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow has a new show on Netflix coming out called The Goop Lab, where it's her and her behind-the-scenes moments of her coming up with her like scientists and whatever to create their new products. But now she has created a vagina candle. Vagina smelling candle. It is literally titled this smells like my vagina candle. Is literally what it's called. And when there's like, this started as a joke between perfumer Doug Little and GP, the description reads. The two were working on a fragrance and she blurted out, this smells like a vagina, but evolved into a funny, gorgeous, sexy, and beautifully unexpected scent that turned out to be perfect as a candle. We did a test run in our Goop Health, in a Goop Health lab or whatever, and it sold out within hours. The blend is a geranium, citrus, bergamot, a cedar absolute juxtaposed with damask rose, and amberette seeds, and put us in the mind of fantasy, seduction, and sophisticated warmth. So that's what vagina smell should remind you of, just so you know. And now you
I'll be honest, I blacked out partway through that.
And now you can buy a candle that smells like vagina. This is barely movie news. It's tangentially movie news, only because she wasn't a semi-retired actress. So that's why I felt like bringing it up. Additionally, other news.
No. Oh, okay. I was like, no, don't keep going on this.
No.
God, no.
Jump off a cliff. It's okay. You can jump off a cliff. It's fine. We'll be there at the bottom to catch you.
I was gonna be like, do not jump off a cliff. We do not condone that at Har HQ.
So, before we get to Oscar nominations and some drama brought out by the Oscar nominations, did you know Joaquin Phoenix was arrested a few days ago?
Yeah, for climate change activism.
Yeah. So I wanted to bring that up because
We've brought up others too who have done it as well. So
yeah. I wanted to bring this one up specifically because my stepmother brought a lot of attention to Joaquin Phoenix. She loves him as an actor, and she feels that he is like the black sheep of Hollywood, how he's always calling out Hollywood hypocrisy and kind of gets hated for it. And she felt like, of course, right after he gets a good Golden Globe win, he gets arrested right before the noms for Oscars. It's just bound to happen. So, this man was arrested. And, yeah, that's all I wanted to bring up.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yes. So, next, final thing, I guess, technically for me, is nominations for the Oscars. And I know you really don't care, because you don't care about award shows.
What? No, me? Love them. The best.
But I want to talk to you about the one piece of drama that's been bugging me. It was brought up in the Golden Globes, and it is brought up again now. And it's the controversy that there are no women directors nominated for Best Director.
Again?
Again. So, that being said, I want to talk to you about this. Because I'm all for recognizing talent and like women and talents in movies and all that stuff. I'm 100% for it. The argument that I have seen is that her name is Greta Gerwig is supposedly being snubbed a nomination for Best Director for her movie Little Women, which has been nominated for Best Film, one of the Best Pictures, but she doesn't get Best Director. Other people are saying that she's being snubbed, she deserves to be nominated, and then people are bringing up the misogyny of women in Hollywood not being treated properly. But I want to ask, I'm going to bring up, like, other movies that have these nominations, have got the Best Director nominations and the director. And, like, I'll bring up the fact that I know we haven't seen Little Women, so we can't really give a good comparison between how good that movie is and
I
others.
live with someone who did, two people who did,
Okay.
and they thought it was a fantastic film that was really well done.
Okay. The movies that it would be going up against would be Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So Quentin Tarantino for Best Director. Todd Phillips in his movie Joker. Bong Joon-ho for his foreign film Parasite, which is another movie.
Which I've heard fantastic
Yeah.
things about.
It won the Golden Globe for Best Foreign Film. So, that being said, then there's Martin Scorsese in The Irishman, and then there was Sam Mendes for 1917. So, these are all, like, we haven't seen Parasite or The Irishman. At least I'm speaking for myself here.
I saw Irishman.
Okay. You saw the 4-hour film? 3.5-hour film? But
Dude, it's a fucking slog. Like, it's cool and all, but it's 3.5 fucking hours, man.
Mm-hmm. So, like...
Nothing... No. My problem with Irishman, like, yeah, cool. It's a great film. Yeah, it's a great testament to Martin Scorsese as a fucking director. But at the same time, man, just cut some shit. Please. Because it's a fucking slog to get through. Like, we literally thought we were towards the end of the film. When we paused it, we were halfway.
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me that now.
That's a problem in a film. If you feel you're at the end and there's not much more that can be done, especially if it's based off of a real thing that happened, and there's not much more you could maybe tell in this story, and we paused it and we're suddenly like, oh shit, there's still another hour and a half plus of this fucking film. I'm sorry, that's a problem. Because during Endgame, I never felt that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never felt that moment where I was near the end of the film. The pacing was stretched out to fit a 3.5-hour film. But it was 3 hours. Anyways, the film is longer than Endgame.
True. So,
Like,
yeah.
That's a problem in my book.
I get you.
And also Joker, for me, we already know my opinion on it.
Yeah,
We
you
talked
don't
about it
like
last
Joker.
week.
So, like, I was gonna say, if I had to guess, if anything, you'd probably replace Joker with Little Women if that was a possibility. But, like, I'm just...
Well...
My big thing is the way that I've seen the argument portrayed on the internet is we have women directors making movies. Why aren't any of them being recognized for their talent? This is the way I keep seeing it. But I want to ask, is it just because we have women directors, does that mean they have to be recognized? It's like, hey, you're a woman, congratulations. Like, that's the way it kind of seems like they're portraying this to me.
A counter-argument. Okay, hear me out.
That's a misogynistic
Yes.
career?
Because also, it's not you who's technically not having their, like, having representation taken. You know what I mean?
I get you.
It's the thing about representation, because that film, in my opinion, from what I've heard about it, would compete with those films.
Probably. I mean, it is literally competing for Best Picture for the Oscars. So, Best Feature Length Film, I think it was. I have to double check. But yeah.
So why not? You know what I mean? Like it's one of those kind of things. Like also, like, I would even say from what I've heard, it could even, like, knock out Once Upon in Hollywood. We enjoyed that film, but we had a lot of problems with that film, did we not?
Like, all the movies being nominated for Best Picture are 1917, Ford vs. Ferrari, Joker, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite, The Irishman, Little Women, Jojo Rabbit, and Marriage Story. That's a lot of movies for just one category. But let's see, that's 9 different movies. Jesus Christ. But yeah, those
But
are
also, director only gets 5?
yeah. Let's see. Best actor gets 5. Actress gets 5. Supporting actor gets 5. Supporting actress gets 5.
It seems
best animated
slightly...
feature gets 5. But
Part of that feels a little like skewed then. Because either keep everything to 5 or keep like you can't.
I was about to say,
it
that's
feels like
kinda...
they're too picky and choosy about it. What makes they're being too picky and choosy. Like you're gonna cause conflict doing this way
I was about to say,
by
yeah.
adding.
Yeah, now that I look at this, it's like every other category only has 5 options, but to not cause a scene, you pick the 9 best movies. And so it's like everyone has a chance.
But then you create more of a problem with the fact that, like, hey, if you're gonna start picking these films, you need to at least have some equivalent, like representation there, like in some way. So, like in my opinion, if let's say Jordan Peele's film would be on that list, it wouldn't be because it's a horror film and horror films get snubbed.
That being said, Uncut Gems isn't on here at all either. They got nothing.
Which is ridiculous to me, having just seen that film. I would put that above Once Upon a Time, personally.
Okay.
I love Tarantino films, but as a film overall, I think Uncut Gems is a better movie. Also, have a good night, Jay. Thanks for hanging out.
Jay. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the raid, too.
I think Uncut Gems is a better movie than Once Upon a Time. Just from a narrative and maybe not necessarily acting standpoint, because like comparing Adam Sandler to Leonardo isn't exactly fair in some aspects, but at the same time, comparing what Adam Sandler did with the role compared to what Leo does with his role, like from just a film standpoint, I feel like that film got straight up snubbed in my opinion.
I actually also wanted to talk about Uncut Gems for a second. Thinking about this, sorry, because I heard a different reading of the movie, which we like. You kind of talked about the movie in terms of mental health. I kind of talked about the movie in terms of like morality and how the moral of the story is don't like learn from your lessons, essentially. There's another reading I heard that was about addiction and about the gambling addiction more specifically.
Which is a mental health thing.
Yes, I get that. And I was like, huh, interesting. So, like, they had argued...
That was more what I was trying to get at for me, but you kept directing it to Joker, so I had to go for Joker. That was the bait you were giving me, so I had nothing else to go off of. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Because Uncut Gems tackles the mental health issues of like addiction and stuff like that throughout the film, and it shows that sometimes there are severe consequences of that, which I think is a better, because again, there's consequences for actions, which I think does the film more justice. Anyways, again, I think if we're gonna do fucking 9 films, might as well make it 10. And not snub that film as well. I don't know. I hate these fucking award shows because it's just like it's a bunch of old fucking people who are like, oh, maybe I saw this film. I'm not sure. Like, that's what I'll vote for. I don't know.
So then I want to ask you one thing. Then I know you don't care, but we've watched a lot of cartoons this last year. I'm gonna name the best animated feature nominations, and I want you to guess which one you think is gonna win, just because. Movie we haven't seen, Klaus or Claus on Netflix.
Heard fantastic things about it.
Another movie we haven't seen, or at least I haven't, Missing Link. Then we
we missed that one.
But it won the Golden Globe.
Oh boy, that weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, what a mistake.
You know, it's funny. That movie was also, I brought that movie up when we watched Hellboy, saying that movie undersold, even though it was a good film, but no one watched it because it had very little advertising for the movie. And
also, like, you and I both, like, we debated doing that, but literally what it was like, For us, it was a question of, is it going to be worth doing a film that we're going to enjoy more? Because we also, fun fact, we also try to be somewhat entertaining.
It happens sometimes.
Which one's going to be a more entertaining movie for us to talk about? Because we both thought about, like, we're both going to enjoy this because we both enjoy claymation films a lot. And Hellboy looked like it was a coin toss. Is this going to be enjoyable or not?
Turned out it wasn't.
Led to some good rant. I'm going to say that. For us, that's why we made that decision. But if from a purely just, if I were to choose one of those films just to watch and not have to talk about, like in the sense of what we do, it would have been Missing Link. Because it would have just been a more enjoyable film.
Other movies in
what are
the
the others?
category?
Yes.
Toy Story 4.
Obviously, it's Pixar.
Yeah. How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World.
Obviously, DreamWorks does a great job.
And then one that I've not heard of, I Lost My Body.
I haven't heard of that one.
This one, it's a drama fantasy, directed by Jeremy Clapin, and it's in French. About a cut-off hand escapes a dissection lab with one crucial goal: to get back to its body as it scrambles through the pitfalls of Paris to remember its life with the young man it was attached to until they meet Gabriel.
Huh. Interesting.
So it's a disfigured hand trying to return to its body until it finds a boy who's not the original owner of the hand.
Not sure.
It sounds like a
It's
weird twist on the dog and his boy kind of movie trope.
Maybe.
So yeah, that is also nominated for Best Animated Film. So, any chance you can guess which one might win?
Pixar's there, so with Toy Story, and Toy Story does really well. I know the first two, I think, won, right?
I'm trying to see recently.
I know recently they haven't been, but like Toy Story and them have done really well awards-wise. So I'm still mad about last year because they didn't put fucking Into the Spider-Verse as a Best Picture. Sorry.
It was Best Animated Feature.
It should have been in the Best Picture category too.
I mean, that's what Parasite is. It's under both Best Foreign Film and Best Picture. So there's that. What I'm trying to look up before we switch off is I'm trying to see for the Golden Globes recently, because the Missing Link won the Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature. So I was trying to see what they went up against. In the Golden Globes, they went up against Frozen 2, How to Train Your Dragon, Lion King, and Toy Story 4. So say a fairly stacked lineup, but it still ended up to win the Golden Globes. So it could be a secret sleeper.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm just.
Okay. So yeah.
Like Little Women's straight. Because, I don't know, man. Again, that's why.
Awards ceremonies are all politics.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have nothing else to talk about news-wise. Do you have anything?
All right, I got nothing else to do.
All right. So unless I guess we're done here.
All right.
Yeah, we're done here, everybody. That's it. Goodbye. End stream. We're done. Okay. I'm just kidding. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Thanks for all the raids and the follows and all the fun stuff. Dev, I don't know why you didn't tell me when this happened on last Thursday or whatever day it was, but we have 100 followers on this channel.
I said something in the stream. I forgot to talk about it outside of the stream.
Yeah. I logged in this morning and I was like, we have 100 followers! Holy shit! I was super stoked.
Sorry. My B.
So that's awesome. Thank you, everybody, for helping us get to 100 followers. That's awesome. So yeah, check us out on YouTube where we upload all our VODs and things. Give us a follow on Twitter where we tweet out fun stuff and message about the shows. Join our Discord where you can talk to us directly as well as just put input on the show and things. Oh yes, Dev broke his finger. I'm just kidding. Yeah, and then join us as we put in our shows at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. One will be on a different time eventually, maybe, probably. We'll talk about that later.
Maybe tomorrow. Who knows?
All right. So yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next week. Where next week we will be watching. We decided we were going to do the Bad Boys trilogy.
Yep.
So Bad Boys 2, and then Bad Boys 3, Bad Boys for Life. So yeah.
What you want? What you want? What you gonna do?
I've never seen these movies.
Oh, you're gonna... I'm interested in your takes on these films.
I mean, Will Smith is 50-50 for me, so we'll see.
Fair enough.
Alright. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week with all of the Bad Boys film. Until then. Bye.
Ah!